Welcome to Insight Builder channel. How to use LLMs and AI for time series analysis of N5 dataset. This is part 1 of multi-part series of working with time series. Why time series with cursor and introducing M competitions? That's what we are going to see in this video. Before we dive into the why specifically time series with cursor, let's first of all understand cursor is a agentic IDE. It's an integrated development environment. The environment looks like this, and it is very similar to VS Code, and it has got access to something called as a chat or a composer. And now there is something called as an additional thing that they have introduced called as bug finder, which helps to connect with models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet, etc. Let's go back. There has been a lot of chatter in the social media that LLMs, AI models cannot be used for tabular and time series data. There has been a lot of chatter also on how important it is that you have to spend time on practicing the discipline like data science and data engineering, or whichever discipline that you are working on. So we have to discuss in detail about this, and we have to also understand what is important when it comes to working with IDEs like cursor. And then we need to also figure out how to leverage these tools, right? There should be a reason before we say something is good or bad, correct? So I felt that directly diving into time series with the cursor IDE with Claude 3.5 Sonnet and see how it codes, how it gives me the output real time will be a very good way of dealing with the confusion that is ongoing. So why specifically time series? To experiment how LLM can support in modeling time series, because time series modeling has been one of the challenging aspects of data science and machine learning and also statistics. We can identify the benefits of using the IDEs. We can see how to overcome the challenges of TS analysis with LLM support, because at the end of the day, there are going to be challenges. We can use LLMs to document the analysis done. This is one of the features that I've been talking about a lot. We can work on doing the EDA. We can use the LLMs and the Agentic IDE to get the best prediction model among the Propet, xgboost, or the plain moving average models. And there's more. You can do a lot more with the help of Agentic IDEs and the code that is provided by the Agentic IDEs. What you need to understand about time series. So hereafter, TS represents time series. Okay. Time series analysis and prediction is a regression problem. You have a set of data points, and you are going to place the data points on a particular curve or a line, and then you are going to predict what's going to be the next point. So it's very similar to a regression problem. Regression analysis models and hypothesis requires a range of tests to be done. So this is the second thing that you need to understand. The model that you are going to get out of this time series analysis has to be tested. So there is a range of testing that needs to be done. You need to be comfortable with accuracy, precision, recall, and various kinds of errors. Okay, all of these things are formulas. Okay, you have to give some time to dive into the technicalities of this. You need to practice it more often to keep refreshing your memory on accuracy, precision, recall, because it's kind of confusing. So once you start using it, you'll understand. Finally, a battery of statistical tests starting with t-test to comprehensive Anova tests. So these are all varieties of existing statistical tests that tells whether the set of data points that we have can be statistically analyzed or not, first of all, and whether the hypothesis that we are we are concluding or we are coming up with whether the data is matching that hypothesis or not. So these kinds of tests are also something that you need to practice. You see, these things cannot be replaced by cursor. Okay, as I was telling you, there are a couple of challenges, right? I'm not saying that cursor is going to replace everything. Okay, what I'm trying to say is there are certain things that you need to really dive into the details of time series, and then you need to decide, okay, where cursor can be used and where it cannot be used, right? You need to decide that. Without doing that, without actually looking at the data, if you're going to talk and create confusion, it doesn't make sense. So we need to really dive in and say, okay, this is something that we can do with cursor and this is something that we cannot do with Agentic IDEs or cursor. And there's a lot more things that we need to understand. So we have a playbook. So I'll be sharing you that in a couple of minutes. Always there's a playbook. So what do you need to know about M competitions? So what is M competition? Basically, M competition is Makridakis competitions. It's name of a researcher, forecaster and researcher in forecasting called Spyros Makridakis, and he has been conducting these competitions from 1982, and he has been doing it for a very specific reason. He wanted to find out which models can predict and forecast better. Okay, and if you go to the Makridakis competitions in Wikipedia, there is a good deal of information that has been shared. You can actually read through that. But one of the things that gets time and again concluded is it's always either the combination of methods, excuse me, sorry about that. The combination of methods are better. That is most of the time, that is a conclusion, meaning multiple forecasting methods are joined together and the final forecasting is derived from that. So that kind of method, forecasting method, is better. Hybrid between statistical and ML features are also better. And one of the most letting down scenario is that most of the time the simple models are much better than complex model. So there are a couple of books that refer to Makridakis, and they talk about this, that simple models are about as good as complex models by everything's obvious. And also Black Swan also talks about Makridakis competition, and it talks about how simple model can be better, right? So let's go back. So where this all leaves us. So the idea is that, okay, we have a data set, we have a kind of a competitions that has been taken part by a lot of very good forecasting people, and there has been a lot of research happening. And then I decided, okay, let us dive deep into it, and I went into the background of all this, and I found a couple of good resources. I will be sharing these links with you guys in the description below. You can take a look at that, especially the decisionintelligence.github.io. This has got a lot of time series datasets, and also forecastingdata.org. This also has got a good deal of datasets available. We will be working with M5 competitions. There are actually 6 competitions right now. So if you go to the Monash forecasting.data.org, or okay, Makridakis competitions also, it's not fully updated. So the 6th competition is not updated here. So there is actually 6 competitions, and here they talk about up to 5th competition, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they talk about 5th competition, and the 6th, I think they have not spoken about in this list here. Yeah, I don't see 6th here. Yeah, 6th has already happened already. Okay, the point I wanted to make is that 6th competition, the M6 competition, has a data set that is real time. It is on stock market ETF data. It takes 50 stocks and 50 ETFs, real time sales data, and it tries to predict. So that is the competition's requirement, and it happens over a year. It's a very long process. But when it comes to M5, which is the prior competition, it is on forecasting the sales of Walmart products. I mean, the products that is sold in Walmart. That seemed a good, kind of a good baseline for our target. That is to see whether cursor can help in time series. And in fact, agentic LLMs and AI can help in time series, right? So that's the reason why I had to give this, introduction to M competitions. Okay, I believe that this is not something that you come across often. So you even when I was researching about time series, I knew about M competitions. So when I started discussing about this, I went into looked up M competition, but I did not dive into this in this detail. So as I dove into it, I found that okay, there are lots of information and lots of good set of models that you can learn from these competitions. So all of these things I'll be, the links will be shared with you guys. So I believe that it will be very, very helpful for you guys to, review these links. And if you are interested in time series analysis especially. Well, okay, what is our intention right now? We want to, we have understood this. So we have actually gone through the process of, what is M competition and where we are going to get the data, etc. I'll be showing you this in a couple of minutes. So we'll be working on M5 forecasting accuracy competition. And you can find the information, the link will be shared with you guys. So you will have to have a Kaggle account to get access to the data, and you need to accept this particular competitions rules and regulation, and after that you will get access to this data. Okay, these 5 data sets you will get access to, and it is around 400 to 450 MB size, right? You can download it, and I've already downloaded that. You can see that in my cursor environment. Fine. So this data is huge, so I'm not going to commit this data to the GitHub repo. The GitHub repo for all the code will be in cursor projects under M5 time series. So you can find it out here. Let us go back. Now, the objective is that we have to forecast the daily sales for next 28 days, meaning the forecast, we have to forecast it after the given data. So we have to, if the given data is for 12 months, we have to forecast the 13th month, 28 days sales data. So every day we have to forecast, and every day for each product or however we are planning. So it's a very huge data set, in fact. And we are going to face unique challenges in this, and we are going to see how cursor manages that. So that is our primary objective. Okay, our objective is not just to see whether successfully cursor creates a time series model. Okay, time series model is a side project. Okay, our main objective is that how well cursor is able to help us in doing the analysis. Okay, let us again keep that in mind, because the discussion here is primarily on that you cannot use AI for time series analysis or tabular data, and I want to change your mind about that. Well, you might be completely new to time series analysis to begin with. Okay, and you may not know what we are talking about. So if that is the case, then I have created a very simple 10-step. Okay, I have not created this. To be honest with you, I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT created all this. I just put it here so that you guys can see it. That's it. This is this kind of a aggregation of data that is available, and I gave it to ChatGPT, and it put it in a proper structured format. Well, so you can see it has a 10-step process from problem definition to final best practices and documentation. Yeah, deployment is in 8th step, and documentation best practices after that. So officially it should be 8 steps. This can be found in this area. So if you go to the time series playbook here, you can see the same data that I showed you right now in the PNG format, and you can download it also. So you can see that here. Next is the model selection. So if you look at the 5th point, this part, so look at this. This is where the actual meat of the problem is. When it comes to time series, this is where all the data scientists are talking about. Especially they will be very they have the religious attachment to a couple of models like XGBoost or Propet or neural networks or any other ML models. At the end of the day, these are all models. right? They have their own benefits, they have their own shortcomings. Some are good for some kind of data sets, and others are really bad. So our intention, again, as I was telling, is to come up with a way to analyze our data which is given to us, and to use a reasonably good model to make a reasonably good prediction. Okay, this is our objective. Make a reasonably good prediction which is explainable, which gives you new insights, which gives you a way to deal with the future. Okay, that is our primary objective. Well, how to do this? So this model selection itself is quite a involved step. So how the model is selected? So you see there is a 6 elaborate steps that you can follow to select the model. Okay, and it starts with understanding the data. Okay, always. But in case of the time series, you ask a couple of questions like whether it is univariate or multivariate, what is the frequency, what is the length, what is the situation in the stationarity, meaning is there any seasonal changes, or is there any cycles? So we have to look at that. So that is how the first step happens. We look at the model identification process. Depending on the stationarity, we have to decide on which kind of models we will be going with. So we have ACF and PACF for to begin with, to work with moving average and auto regressive models. We have ARIMA and SARIMA models. We have exogenous variables that we can include. And then we also have other models which we'll be discussing in the fourth step. So, but before that, we have benchmark models. These benchmark models are simple moving average and exponential smoothing models. These are all the regular, if you are in trading, you must be knowing this. There is a concept of simple moving or exponential moving average that you can calculate, and you actually can say that, okay, our future is going to be, close to the simple moving average or close to the exponential moving average. You can try to tell that. I mean, you can judge that way. That's going to be our benchmark. It's not going to be a final prediction. So our prediction should be better than this simple moving average and exponential smoothing average. Right. So that is the reason why we have a benchmark. If our prediction is lower than the benchmark, then it is bad. If the prediction is better than the benchmark, then it is good. Okay. It's as simple as that. We have advanced models where Propet, XGBoost, neural networks, LSTM, all these things comes into picture. I'm not going to dive into any of these explanation here. As I was telling you, I am trying to give you a overview of what is available. Okay. It's a huge, in fact, it's not something that you can cover in a video. See, honestly, the idea of covering this particular video here is that I want to show that you guys can use the cursor like IDEs and the LLMs behind it to work with time series model. Okay, it's not that you can learn time series. Yeah, you can actually learn time series also. No one is stopping you. If you see my other videos, I discuss how to learn the things faster. Even here, something that I've given here is also something that I got from ChatGPT. I got it from the Claude Sonnet model. But the point is, I know about these models ahead of time. I've learned about time series. I have practiced this in the past. But yeah, my area that I concentrate most of the time is different. But yeah, I have concentrated and I have focused on these things in the past. So it is important that you sit with these models, sit with these processes, and understand it by going through the code and understanding the steps in more detail. But completely dedicating yourself for this entire time series also is something that you can think about. So if it is your calling, yeah, go ahead and do it. So you can see the factors to consider. And finally, we have the points to consider: the stationarity check, the model diagnostics, the interpretability, computational resource. All these things are, kind of additional points that you need to consider when you are going to work on the models. So even this data will be available in this area. So you can take a look at this link. I'll be sharing you the link. It's already there in the GitHub repo. Okay, so we have seen the basic introduction, and we have seen how the model is selected. We have seen the playbook of time series analysis. We have seen what we are going to do. To begin with, we are going to work with M5 Makridakis competition data. Okay, and we are going to work on this M5 forecasting accuracy competition, not the uncertainty competition. So this is a kind of a add-on competition. This is not what you need to do. We have to work on accuracy M5 forecasting. Okay, and we also discussed about the varieties of resources that is available on the time series datasets that you can actually take it up and practice. And we discussed on the purpose of why time series with cursor and what we need to understand about time series. So I believe that this series of videos will be something that piques your interest and also opens up new horizon for you to use artificial intelligence models like Claude and OpenAI's 4O models to work with time series and tabular data. With that said, I would request you guys to stay tuned for the part 2 of this video. See you guys. Have a great time.